Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Jason, the Overwhelmed Gamer here. And did you know that retro games have seen a massive resurgence? In fact, the sales of retro-style indie games and classic collections have actually skyrocketed. But why are modern games leaning so hard into retro aesthetics and mechanics? And how does the homebrew gaming scene fit into all this? Let's talk about it. Gaming has come a long way since the 8-bit and 16-bit era, but something very interesting is happening. Despite all the graphical advancement and massive open worlds, we are seeing more and more games embrace pixel art, chiptunes, and old classic mechanics. Whether it's indie developers reviving old school genres or AAA studios releasing 2D side-scrollers, there is no denying that retro is making a huge comeback. But this isn't just about nostalgia, there's something deeper driving this shift. So why are modern developers looking backwards instead of forward? Well, I think there's a few reasons for this. First, I think, is just player satisfaction. Not everyone has 100 hours to sink into a massive RPG or an open world game with endless fetch quests. Many gamers miss the just pick up and play simplicity of classic titles. When I had younger children, trying to play a modern RPG was just a huge headache. With the limited gameplay I had, I remember being really frustrated with jumping into the game, having time to go through the skill tree for 2 hours, and that would be it. That was my whole game time. So I completely understand this shift. Second is market competition. With thousands of new games released every year, it's harder than ever for smaller studios to stand out. Retro aesthetics not only set a game apart, but it also taps into a sense of familiarity that draws players in. And finally, rising development costs. Making a hyper-realistic, graphically intense game is expensive. But creating a beautiful 2D pixel art world, that's often way more feasible for smaller teams. This is where homebrew games come in. Passionate developers are creating brand new games for classic consoles like NES, Sega Genesis, even the Game Boy. These games prove that retro styles aren't just a gimmick, they're still a super effective way to deliver fun and very innovative experiences. The influence of retro gaming is everywhere. We see it in the resurgence of pixel art, with games like Sea of Stars capturing the charm but with some upgraded features of the old Super Nintendo, and Celeste being old school difficulty with a more modern accessibility. We see it in gameplay, with mechanics from Mega Man, Castlevania, and Metroid are being reimagined. Even major companies like Nintendo and Capcom are embracing an 8-bit and 16-bit design into their newer games. And then there's a homebrew scene. Some of the most impressive games aren't even being made for new hardware, they're being designed for classic consoles. Indie and homebrew developers aren't just recreating the past, they're pushing retro games forward in ways we'd never imagined. The big takeaway is retro gaming isn't just a passing trend, it's a full-blown movement at this point. The developers are realizing that fun gameplay doesn't require ultra-realistic graphics or complex mechanics. Many gamers like myself crave the challenge, simplicity, and creativity of these games in the past. And that's why we're seeing this shift. Whether it's through homebrew projects, indie games, or even major development studios, retro gaming is really shaping the future of how games are made and played today. So what does all this mean? Well, it proves that gaming history matters. The games we grew up with still influence what we play today. Homebrew developers are keeping classic consoles alive, indie studios are reviving old school genres, and even AAA companies are paying tribute to the past. In the end, it's all about balance, combining nostalgia with innovation to create something truly special. I love getting suggestions on new games to play, so let me know in the comments what your favorite modern or homebrew game that captures that classic feel are. And as always, thanks for watching, and if you're into retro gaming, homebrew games, please consider liking, subscribing, all that kind of fun YouTube stuff. There's a bell you can hit, something. I don't know. Nobody cares. That's it. We'll see ya in the next video. Late.